Toastmaster for the evening. Our first question I'm going to ask to anyone, and the question is, we're still talking about school time. So school time is upon us. The weather is changing. There are so many changes that happen during the school time. Some people enjoy the changes, others do not. My question to you is, if you're happy about school time, tell me one thing or one reason why. Why are you happy about school time? Don't be shy. We all should have something to be happy about.
Yes.
Give me one thing you're happy about related to school time. It's not hard.
Oh, my hand disappears.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. All yours.
All right. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. If there's at least one thing about school time that I am happy with, is one, is the little children are getting an education.
Oh.
No matter how you feel about the public school system or this school system or that school system and the way it's operating today, the children are getting an education. Do I have another thing to be happy about with school time? Well, school time is another sign that the hot summer is soon to come to an end. Even though there are some aspects of summer that I do like, but I guess the worst part about it is the extreme hot weather of summertime. So those are a few things that I am happy about for school time. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Maurice. And I agree. The kids are getting an education, especially those little babies, and they're just sponges and they're excited to learn. And yes, it means those dog days of summer are almost over. Thank you very much. My next question is to whomever would like to answer. And that is, I am very passionate about my feelings surrounding education, especially of our young children, those grade school kids. Do you think that it is as much the parents or the home's responsibility as the teachers to educate or teach the children? Go ahead, Caleb.
So, thank you. I feel very strongly about this question because I used to teach, and I used to teach undergrad chemistry for 3 or 4 years, and then I moved on to teaching organic chemistry. And with undergrad chemistry, a lot of students come in and you think, oh, why don't these new kids know anything about chemistry? Where's their passion for learning, or where's their passion for science? And I feel like, as an educator and as someone who's friends with educators in the K through 12 system, there's this disproportionate responsibility placed on the backs of teachers to be the sole driving force, or the sole motivator for these students coming in to learn and to see the universe around them, and to actually learn and take a passion in learning. So, to put a long answer short, I do think that it should be, I suppose the old adage was, it takes a village to raise a child, but it's true. It takes everyone to raise a child up to both embrace learning and to embrace a passion for growth and to better themselves as best as they can. And it can't just be a teacher. It has to be the parents, it has to be the friends, it has to be the extended friends, it has to be the extended family. And in my mind, there's nothing more valuable than a strong education and maintaining a curiosity. throughout life. That's my answer. Thank you, Olivia. Back to you.
Absolutely, Caleb. I'm very strong about that as well, and especially for those simple things. Now, when you're talking about science, yes, I understand your passion for science, and I agree there should be a passion for learning, for curiosity, and for science, because we are all in some form of another are going to have to be scientists, mathematicians, psychologists. These are just things of the world that we have to endure. And so I agree that it takes a village. Speaking on science, and Caleb, no sense in you answering this question because I already know the answer. So Maurice or Donovan, tell me, what was your favorite subject in grade school? What was your favorite subject? And don't forget the use of the word of the day. Thank you, Donovan, for reminding us.
Fellow,
It's in the chat.
fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, the question that's been posed, what was my favorite subject in grade school? Before I get into that, let me see. Out of all existential subjects that are at school, my favorite subject was math. Any form of math. That was my favorite subject in grade school. I well above, well, science is a close second, and then between language arts and social studies, I guess I put social studies next, and then language arts was probably at the bottom out of those four. So again, math classes, whatever kind of math, was my favorite subject in grade school. Back to you, Topics Master.
Thank you. I do think I think you've answered that question before, Maurice, and I can see you being a lover of math. I can tolerate math to a degree, but when you start getting into the Pythagorean theorem, and that's when I go blank. I did pass, but I don't care for it. It's like, why does this matter? So Donovan, I'm going to ask this next question to you. So Donovan, I know that you are a college student, and kudos to you. What is your toughest subject in college?
Thank you, Olivia, on guests and fellow Toastmasters. My question that I was proposed is, what is one of the challenging classes I have taken through my college career? That's a tough question because there are so many subjects and so many classes I've taken which are sort of equal to each other. Though also classes that has more of a workload than the others. Even though that there are some classes that might be challenging and some might be a little easy. It just depends on who you are and depending on the student who's either dedicated to that type of field or type of subject that they're interested in. There isn't one particular class that has been difficult because there are so many classes that can be difficult for me as well. The ones that I've taken in the past, the ones I'm taking now, the ones I'll be taking in the future. But the classes that I might say might be a little challenging sometimes, but boy, I'll have to say either theology, even though that might seem easy, it's not. It just depends on the professor and their teaching style, which can result into it to be pretty challenging, especially when those professors who are in a old age and stuff. So I would probably would say that would be one of the challenging courses, I would say. Thank you, and back to Mrs. Hilltoppers Master. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donovan. And yes, college can be challenging. It requires a lot of energy and effort and dedication, and it's not required. So it's not like it's grade school where you have to go up until a certain year or a certain age, or else you're in violation of your local laws. But when you go into college, it's only because you're choosing to seek out or search for a higher learning. So I applaud us all who have went to college, graduated college, and vice versa. For me, one of the things that a professor told me years ago in college, and it has stuck with me forever, and that was the best way to learn is to teach. Even if you are talking to an empty room, the best way to learn is to teach. Caleb, you have been in the education system for quite a while, or you've been an educator. Give me that one tip that you tell your students that you could tell us tonight, please.
Sure. Thank you, Olivia. So the one tip that I give to my students is actually the same thing you just said. To really understand something, you have to teach something. And that's really what I've told any student, anybody coming in to learn something under me. I've taught people in a number of different things. In undergrad, it was general chemistry, and nowadays, whenever I have someone new come to my lab, I teach them the ropes and how to do experiments. And to be able to teach someone else how to do an experiment, to teach them how to solve a problem, to teach them how to learn is, I would say, this is the subject that gets me the most existential, because I've been in college for a long time now. And it's a long path, and I'll probably be in a college up to the day I die as a professor of some institution if everything goes well. Academia is a very hard field to get into. But if you can teach something, it means you've done it enough times that you can put it into a simple way. And I feel like you don't understand something unless you can describe it simply. And if you can describe it simply, it means you've done it enough times where it's come second nature to you. And you've thought of the metaphors in your head that explains a problem in the most intuitive way. So that's my answer to the question. Thank you, Olivia. Back to you.
Thank you very much. We still have a little time left, so I'm going to keep right on going. For me, when I was a student, and this is an opportunity for us as students to talk to the educators, the teachers, those professors. And for me, when I was a student, it drove me nuts for a teacher to not be able to explain themselves. They're just reading from a textbook. And it makes me feel like I'm being taught by someone who's really not able to teach. Can you tell me one thing that drives you nuts about an educator or a teacher? What's that one thing that makes you just like bonkers when you sit in the classroom? I know, Donovan, you mentioned about subjects being made more difficult depending on the teaching style. Maybe this might be a good question for you. What is one thing about a teacher? What is one teaching style that makes you bonkers? or anyone can answer. Doesn't have to be you, Donovan. Anybody can answer. What is one teaching style that drives you bonkers?
I'll do it, Olivia.
Thank you.
So the question that I have proposed was, what is one thing that drives me nuts about that professor that makes me want to go bonkers? So, fellow Toastmasters and honor guests, there were so many professors I had that had that little bit that sort of drove me nuts a little bit. But what I did is I overcame it. I kept doing my work. I was dedicated to what I'm doing. By graduating with a regular degree like everybody else, that's my main goal. And yes, I'm gonna find professors who might drive me nuts along the way. But I would probably have to say I haven't met anyone that made me feel that way, but no, probably is some professors that I might meet in the future that might make me feel that way. So one of the professors I had in the past was, so let's just say he was old in age. I don't want to be rude. So old in age, who always is very slow in teaching. And when he taught slow, it was kind of hard to understand him a little bit. But that sort of got me more confused. And the more confused I get, the more upset I get. So that would be one of the things that would drive me nuts, is by them going so slow that it's just so slow and you can't really understand what they're saying, especially in subjects like theology and philosophy and probably biology as well. But that is what it is. So thank you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you. I'm going to ask one more question, unless President or our Toastmaster chooses for us to continue on. And this question is, when you were making your decisions for your career choice, did you choose one that was the most lucrative or one that allowed you to exercise your passions and gifts? And the next part of that question is, what is the danger in doing it the way you did it? Did you make your career decision based on one that was the most lucrative, or did you go after your passions, your dreams, your gifts? And what is the danger in doing it the way you did it? Oops, go ahead, Caleb. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute myself. Go ahead.
You're okay. Thank you, Olivia. The question was, did I choose a career that was lucrative, or did I choose a career that I think utilizes my gifts? And maybe unfortunately, I think it's the latter. Academia is not the highest paying job, and I've known that for a long time now. And 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought that I would be 31 and doing graduate school, trying to get a doctorate, and being shocked at how much money grad students make, and it's not a lot. And it's not a lot as a postdoc, and it's not a lot as a faculty. But there's a hope. I don't want to be too doom and gloom and existential about this entire thing. But there's a hope that one day I could become one of those superstar scientists where everyone likes to hear me talk and I like to listen to myself talk and they pay me obscene sums of money. I keep my fingers crossed for that, but I don't I don't want to I don't want to that's not what drove me to this field. I love science and I love learning, and if you look around my apartment, my this room is filled with books and papers and studies that I've done on my own. And I hope that I can use the gifts that I have to push us forward, not just as a society, but as a world, or just one step closer to breaching the unknown that is the goal of science. It's not to make money, it's to learn and to understand. Thank you. Back to you, Olivia.
Thank you very much, Caleb, and that is a beautiful answer. And just real quick, because I'm just curious, what is the danger in that? And I think your answer would be because it may not be the most lucrative, right?
Right, oh, right. I'm sorry. The danger to that is, depending on what people want to do in life, they might want to have a family at 31 and not be a student still, or a scientist working towards a field, right?
I
And
got you.
that's a big danger. It's sacrifices, and I've made a lot of sacrifices to get where I am now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Caleb. And thank you for allowing us just that little tidbit of information about who you are as a person. So for that transparency. Donovan, I think you had your hand raised, correct?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something and let Caleb know that just being a younger brother of someone who has worked so much and so like but my older sister is actually a doctor herself now, and she's like 38 or something. I don't know her actual age, but she did get her PhD and um and in public health. So I know how it might have felt of someone like you, because I'm a younger sibling of someone who has been through the ringer through multiple years of life, of schooling, of writing papers, of doing a lot of things that sort of made me to look up to her a lot because of that. So just so you know that.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, I you've seen it firsthand, and you know it's tough. And kudos to your sister for going through it and for making it through that pathway, because it's a lot, especially all that writing.
Very good. The time is now 7:18. I can hand this back over with, I mean, we'll be leaving out a little early, but I can pass this back over to our Toastmaster, or I can do one more question. Maurice. Oh, Donovan.
No, I was just doing the finger because
Oh, one more question. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, this question I will ask and answer of myself. And the question is, that's okay with you guys. And the question is, what would you tell someone that is looking to select a career path? And my sincere answer to that question would be is that do your research. You do want to be able to be self-sufficient, make enough money to sustain life, of course. But at the end of the day, do what makes you happy. And when your life is done, for me, I want to leave behind a legacy. Yes, I would love to leave my kids $1 million each, or I would love to have a couple mansions or Maseratis that I can pass on to them. But most importantly, I want my tombstone to say, here lies a person that was passionate about life, her gifts, her passions. And the Bible tells us, because I am a believer in Proverbs, that your gift will make room for you and sit you among great men. So if you follow your passions and the gifts that you have been organically or spiritually given, they will indeed make room for you. So you can enjoy life and still make a lot of money. That is my answer to what I would tell someone choosing a career path. And I'm going to relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster for the evening.
Thank you, Olivia. That was a good table topic session, and it was a very 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 hard questions to think about off the cusp. I guess the next portion is the evaluation portion, and I guess I'll go ahead and ask the general evaluator to explain what her role is and give her evaluation as well. Olivia, would you explain what your role is, and will you also do your evaluation as well?
Absolutely. Good evening. I am your general evaluator for the evening, so I will briefly discuss the meeting and how things went, and just basically give an overall evaluation of the meeting as a whole. But first, I will call on my team, and I do know I have a timer for the evening, and that's Maurice. So Maurice, would you kindly give us your timers report, please, for our table topic portion?
Yes. The times for the evening is, my first table topics was 1 minute and 15 seconds. Caleb's first table topic was 1 minute and 55 seconds. My second table topic was 1 minute and 28 seconds. Donovan's first table topic was 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Caleb's second table topic was 1 minute 54 seconds. Donovan's second table topic was 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Caleb's third table topic was 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And Olivia's table topic was 1 minute and 17 seconds. So that is for this evening.
I'm still on mute. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for that, Maurice. And I don't know if we had someone that was doing the grammarian report and the on-counter, did we?
Yes.
This is not. Okay.
For the all counters report, I didn't hear too many filler words.
Right.
I heard so from Caleb. I remember,
Mhm.
Sometimes so is a filler word, sometimes it isn't. So just like I said, okay, I just said so. Otherwise, everyone did very good. And as far as the word of the day, existential, which is relating to existence, either philosophically or logically. I said it one time, Caleb said it one time, I think Donovan did it at least 2 times in the chat. And I don't know if Olivia used the word.
I did not.
Okay. So that is the word of the day, existential. And I did not notice any misuse of the English language. So that is the all counters and grammarian's report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. I don't think we have any other reports to give, so I will continue with my general evaluation. And the meeting did take about a 5-minute recess. We did have quite a bit of club business to go over. So that's always good to get the business out of the way. And unfortunately, we did not have a prepared speech yet again tonight. So we moved into our table topic portion, which was, I think, very good. This table topic portion this evening was somewhat informative. We learned quite a bit about each other, and although we like for the meetings to be, or at least I do, for them to be funny and lighthearted, sometimes it's good to just talk about matters of the heart. So I think we did a real good job on that this evening. And it's okay, because those are sometimes there are going to be those tough questions, or those strong questions that we may be asked when we're in an interview or in the elevator with the CEO, or when we're trying to pitch or market our new idea to a consultant or a marketing firm. You just never know where you're going to be in life, where you have to sometimes answer those tough questions. So very good for that. Very good on that from everyone. And also very good for the use of the word of the day, existential. And that is it for me and my general evaluation. I will turn it back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Olivia. Just want to go ahead and say that this was a great meeting, and it is now 7:26 when we started 6:50 this evening. I guess that's it from my role for the evening. I guess I'll go ahead and actually I can go ahead and ask people if they'd like to sign up for any roles for next week. Would anyone want to go ahead and volunteer for anything?
I will be Toastmaster for next week.
I can be grammarian, right? Is-
Awesome. Thank you.
oh,
I'll also volunteer for the table topics.
Caleb, you were about to speak?
oh yes, I was going to ask you, did we come to a conclusion? Were we going to use Cash App, or I was trying to get PayPal to work on my phone, but it is